Hi friends, Chandrasekhar again. Now we are going to learn about the second Rashi in the Bhachakra, as it is called. Bhachakra means Bha means the zodiac and Chakra means the circle, which means the second Rashi of the zodiac. Of course, the zodiac, as you have already seen in the earlier lecture, begins from Ashwini Nakshatra, 0 degrees of Ashwini, and so this is Vrishabha Rashi. Vrishabha means a bull, called as Taurus in English language. So we have already seen the first one, which is Mesh, the ram. So we come to the next four-legged animal. That was a four-legged animal. Here again we get a four-legged animal, that is the bull, and this is the second Rashi. This spans over, it starts from second pada, quarter of Kritika Nakshatra. That is because it ends at, Mesha ends at 3:20 degrees of 3 degrees 20 minutes of Kritika. So here it begins from second quarter, that is 3:20 degrees of Kritika. It begins, goes through the entire Kritika, part of the Kritika, those 3 quarters of Kritika, then 4 quarters of Rohini, and 2 quarters of Mrugashirsha, also called Mrugashira in Sanskrit by generally the astrologers of the southern part of India. I prefer to call it Mrugashirsha, that is head of the Mruga. Mruga means an animal. Mruga also means the deer. So Mruga doesn't only means deer, which is imagined, and as you know, as we have seen in the case of Mars owning Mesha, Aries, he is represented by different animals. We will see that when we go to Vrishchika, the 8th Rashi, also owned by Mars, who happens to be the lord of Vrishchika, Scorpio. So he lords over Mesha and Scorpio. Now we are talking about Taurus, Vrishabha. This is also variously known as Uksha. Uksha means bull or the large one. So Uksha, he is called as Tavuru. It is also called as Gokula. Gokula is place where cows reside. It is called Gokula, wherever they congregate. So this has to do with bull. Now we will first, you can understand yourself, being the second Rashi, it is a even Rashi. Even Rashis are considered to be female Rashis, and as befits general understanding of female, it is a Saumya Rashi, the soft one, whereas the odd Rashis like 1, 3 and so on till 11th are the male Rashis, so they have some element of cruelty or harshness in them. Here you get the softness, you get the female, and again this also rises from its hind quarters, so it is called Prushtodaya Rashi. Then we saw Mesha, the first one, is a Chara Rashi, it is a cardinal sign, so it is always in a state of suspended animation, you may call it. Here it is a Sthira Rashi, a steady Rashi, fixed Rashi as you call it in English. So Sthira means stable. Then its color is said to be white. It rules over the Vayu Tattva, airy element. Though some learned call it a Rashi with Prithvi Tattva. So as you will see in the next lecture on Mithun, there is a difference of opinion between various acharyas and sages, the learned teachers and the sages, about what is the tattva of Vrishabha or Gemini. That happens elsewhere also, and the reason is not difficult to understand. Some acharyas think that Gemini is airy Rashi, whereas Rudra Bhatta, the commentator of Varahamihira, Jatak calls it to be the Prithvi Rashi, the earth element. So by implication, he would rather attribute airy element to Taurus, whereas others would give the earth element to Taurus, that is Vrishabha Rashi. Both are in a way not exactly wrong, how we look at it, because a bull is a steady one, and so if we imagine his feet to be firmly on the ground, then it would be a sthira Rashi. But there is no harm if somebody takes it to be airy Rashi. My own opinion about this again is a bit divided. I can think of Buddha having all the three elements in him to be more the earth Rashi rather than, because he discriminates and earth has ability to discriminate. However, we better leave this to the sages. You can consider it to be Prithvi Tattva for ease of understanding, because then Gemini will go to the airy element, and then the natural order of fire followed by earth followed by air followed by water, going 3 times around the zodiac would be correctly maintained. However, let me tell you that it is a matter of opinion, and I am greater neither than the sages nor than the acharyas. So I would like you to know about this difference of opinion between different authorities and the reason for it. We will also go about it in the lecture that will come about Gemini Rashi, that is Mithuna. Then it resides in watery place or land where grass grows. Now you can always correct the growing of grass and irrigation and bull and the Rashi itself being watery. So I don't think it's very difficult to understand what is being said once you say it is Vrishabha, it is Stri, the Saumya Rashi. I mean, with water there would not be that great heat of sun that is realized there. So it is a Rasva Rashi like Mesh. See, Rashis are, though we calculate them at 30 degrees, their length in the zodiac varies. So these are small Rashis. Maybe at the end of the lectures on all these Rashi, I will try to draw a diagram which will make it easier to understand, because the zodiac is a bit elliptical. Though the degrees are 30, the size of Rashis, the distance that sun has to move through to cross a Rashi varies. So these are small Rashis, they are equal Rashis, and they are large Rashis. So that represents basically the distance that needs to be traversed along the zodiac, though the angle would always be the 30-degree angle. So this has to be also understood. This is also used many a times in talking about the organs or the limbs of the person, and so the Rashis could be indicative of the size of the limbs, various limbs like head, hands and whatever. So all these are tools given to astrologers to be able to divine something, because you have got, now as we are seeing, we have got 12 bhavas, 12 Rashis, 9 planets, then of course the Shamara. So we have got so many variables, and though apparently it might appear that 2 charts are similar, there would be huge difference between the two. Naturally, because persons are born at different times. So what he does is, generally his direction is supposed to be east. It is, I would personally think it is extreme south, northeast. But not exactly northeast, it is still considered to be east. It is strong in the night, and it is said to be Alpa Prajam, a Rashi which gives fewer number of or lesser number of progeny. So it rules over roots. Mool. Mool has different meanings, There are three metals, as they call them, Dhatu, Moola and Jiva. Jiva is living beings, of course, but root is the tuber crops or anything which grows under the ground is considered to be the root. Anything which forms the basis of some enterprise can also be called root. So Mool has different meanings. When we analyze a chart, it is incumbent upon us not to remain fixed in a certain word that is used to describe something. Sanskrit is a language of brevity, as I say tirelessly, and with multiple meanings, so try to look deeper into it. Now, why the bull? One. So we will try to understand that, because this is more about the concept of the Rashi. As I have always said, my lectures are about the concept. And see, those who have seen bulls or bullocks, they will, I'm sure they will understand one thing. See, they can carry as much load as you can put upon them and go on working steadily, not getting disturbed. They go at a steady pace. Now, this has also to do with the Rashi being sthira. And the bulls are powerful. So, generally, if the Lagna is Vrishabha, Taurus, the person will have a slightly broader face, good powerful neck. Look at a bull, think about it, especially the Brahman bull. If you want to know more about the type of bull that you should look at, and you will understand what can be the physical form of the person, especially if it is the ascendant. Broader face is there, generally chest is a bit broad, arms are longer, and so. But the most important thing is, though a bull or bullock can go on working steadily for hours without appearing to tire out, not losing their focus, if you trouble them too much, then what happens? Ask anybody who has any time in his life driven a cart or has been part of an agricultural community, and he will tell you that bull will simply sit down. And then it is not in power of anybody to make him get up. So you have to understand that Taurus represents a tendency of going on working, being focused on work all the while, but once the person feels without complaint and even not grumbling about too much load being put on that person, of course in terms of work nowadays, but it could also be weight being carried. So, but if he thinks you have troubled him too much, then that same Taurus working without being tired, without complaining, without grumbling, will sit down, which means he will then hold his ground and would not budge, whatever you do. So while dealing with people of Taurus Lagna, remember this thing. And they are not otherwise aggressive. They don't turn back and hit somebody. Yeah, of course breeding bulls do that, but even they will take their regular exercise if they are given regular exercise. You don't give them regular exercise, then there can be a problem. And that is also there with the Taurus people. They like to work. This is again, of course, the Mulatrikon Rashi of Venus. Venus is the lord of Taurus. You can also understand that the 5 planets, barring, which excludes always Sun and Moon, have 2 Rashis over which they lord. One is always a male Rashi, one is a female Rashi. And you will see, though the planet is same, he manifests in different manner in the 2 Rashis that he owns. So you will find that when he owns the Rashi that we are focusing on is the Stri Rashi or Saumya Rashi or Even Rashi, you can call any of them, same thing will be indicated. The approach of that Graha of giving results would be different. In one case it will be more harsh. Good, bad, ugly, it doesn't make any difference, because
even good things can be harsh, lest people think that, like, let us take the case of Guru, Jupiter, whom everybody thinks is always very soft and but you see, the teacher can get angry at you if you don't follow his instructions, or he thinks that you are not paying attention. He can become angry, and as we will see as when we go ahead, his Murtukul Rashi is Sagittarius, and so we look at it from this angle. Yeah, they are generally good workers. We will see many successful people, hard-working people belonging to this Rashi. No Rashi is bad, you please understand. But if Jataka comes to you, he is steady, he doesn't move, he is not fidgety, you can be more or less sure that he would be either from the Sthira Rashi or the Dviswabhava Rashi. And if that person is fidgety, asking questions after questions, jumping from one subject to another, 99.9% of the time the Rashi, that is the ascendant, will be of a Chara Rashi, cardinal Rashi. Remember that. It is not for no reason that they have given names of, Chara, Sthira and Ubhaya, that is dual. All these words indicates something, a quality of the mind of that Jataka. And this is what we should understand. The problem is, usually many times, my students also ask that when you analyze, you generally look at the planets, you look at the bhavas, placement of one bhav lord in another bhava, and sir, so what is the necessity of knowing more about Rashis and their knowing the Rashi in depth? That Rashi also has some key information which is being imparted to you. Understand that. So even in the 10th house, if a Rashi is there, X Rashi is there, or Y Rashi is there, you can sometimes try to define what would be the area where his career could, get a jump, quantum jump, let us call it. Or if some Rashi is there in the 4th house, then you can find out, you can understand that his house may be located somewhere like Taurus being there, could be some watery place, or some large tract of land with grass growing, or some greenery, would be a place where his house would be, or he would be comfortable in a house which is somewhere near that place. Same with Cancer Rashi. I should not go ahead because we have to complete all the Rashis, but remember this, all these things are telling you something. If it is in the 5th house, what will happen? Maybe the progeny will be of that type. Of course, the Rashi is, as nowadays it is called environment, it's not exactly an environment, it gives you idea of certain things, possibilities, and these are then modified because of aspects or presence of planets there. So we use all this information to try to come to as near as possible to the right or near right prediction of what is likely to happen in future in the life of a Jataka. So my friends, I think this is enough. For me, I would even think that Taurus could also dwell in places where jewelry or exotic things are there, or that person may be attracted to things which are beautiful. Because after all, Taurus is ruled by Venus, who himself represents art. And so my friends, I'll take your leave. I do not want to go on talking, you will get bored after some time, but this is what you should understand about Taurus Rashi. And next lecture would naturally be on Gemini, Mithuna Rashi. Mithun is a couple, male and female. And so, see, its symbol itself tells you that it could be a dual Rashi. It is a dual Rashi. And as usual, let me know your views. Let me know if my way of looking at Rashis helps you in your final objective of trying to predict right things for those who are in great distress. So thank you very much, my friends. See you in the next lecture in a few days.